Here we go. Oh man. Let's see what happens. Says I got one thumbs up. What's up, Keith? What's going on? I just finished watching the last bit of Backwoods um, chat. 7 hours. Of course, I was listening to it overnight, but that shit was a shit show. Him and Hutch were just going at it. They were just on it. I laughed my ass off. That shit was funny. And I normally don't comment on chats like that, but I didn't. But he left the video up, so that shit was just funny. Gun loving grandpa, what's going on, man? I've been relaxing. I have been really just cruising, getting sleep, taking it easy, taking the time, cleaning up stuff at grandpa's house, getting stuff ready, for clearing out, and a couple hours every day, and come back home and enjoying my days, So, so but yeah, cheers, cheers. How are you guys doing? Hey Heather, what's going on? I was watching. I just finished watching Backwoods 7 hour chat, and the last part of the chat was the best. The last hour and a half, 2 hours was the best. Oh yeah, I got the earbuds on, so let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know. I got these on so that everybody can hear me clearly, hopefully. But yeah, it was a shit show. It was him and Hutch, and they were just killing it, man. They were just. I laughed so much. I hadn't laughed so much. Yeah, 7 hours. Yeah. What's up, Josh? What's going on, brother? Josh been where? Josh been where? Long time. I'm glad you're doing well, brother. I was wondering about you, man. Yeah, he's not just Josh. It's Josh Ware, so don't get those two confused. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, it's good to see Josh. Um, just hanging out, brother. I don't know if you heard Josh, but Grandpa Red passed away like 2 weeks ago. So been just trying to get everything settled. Got the funeral settled, burial, and all that. Got it done it right. So now it's just to clean up the house and figure out some things and you know new chapters. So but yeah, everything's good. So all positive thoughts. So little by little, I'm clearing things out. So I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, my battle, my journey with my grandfather had been a long road. So and no regrets. Just he lived a full life. Is all I can say. At 91, he would have been 92 in February. So cheers to my grandpa. Yeah. But I was telling my wife, I was telling her, I was like, I've really been, I feel rested. I really feel like I'm getting rest. I'm not worrying about him, aka stress. Which I had been working on that these last several months. I really been working on just breathing techniques because it's a lot. It's overwhelming. So, um, but now I feel like a new chapter can begin in my life, and I could figure out some of the things. You were always there for him. So peace knowing, yes. Yeah, definitely, Josh, definitely. So no regrets, and have all the fond memories. All the memories are always up here and in here. And you know, as sad as it will be to maybe close out the house and sell it, um, I'm at peace. I'm at peace, and we're just debating whether we want to stay here, move to his house, or sell his house and then just stay here and fix up ours. Which this is our house, so I just threw that out there to my wife, and said, "Let me know what you want to do." So because I'm at peace moving on, So, but yeah, been just hanging out. Just thought I'd jump on here for a little bit and see where this goes. Sometimes this turns into like a whole hour easily, just like that. So, um, trying to just balance things out and not get all worked up. I've been cutting the news out, Josh, a lot. I have been cutting the news out a lot, man. Um, just getting away from the whole, scare thing about the news and what's going on. And of course, now it's back again, right? There's a new version of it. So, I'm gonna do my part, do my thing, try to stay healthy, um, cover up when I'm out, wash my hands, keep my distance, which I've been doing. And thank God I don't go to the clubs or anything. So, Jesus said, "Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Me too, Red." The news. Yeah, and it for me it doesn't stress me out. One of the things I figured out or I found out about myself is that I've always kind of fed off the energy of like doomsday and like shit hits the fan, and it's just like it keeps me going like, ooh, what's gonna happen, right? But it got to this whole year and a half really has, I could think, pushed a lot of us to the point of just like we're just sick of it, like we're just tired of it. But the reality is it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and this is just a product of it that we have to now deal with, you know. Hey, what's up, Bold? Bold and curious. Boom. Um, I'll get right back to you about the other stuff. Hold on. Awful chatty this weekend. Yeah, I try to be, man. I try to be. Yeah, I try to balance everything out. Yeah, yeah, and I think that that's the concept of it is that everybody wants to build it up, but you have to catch it to build that up. And I've already had it, so you know, fingers crossed. But you know, what will happen? I can't stress about that next month. Will there be another freeze in Texas? I can't stress about that. Bald, I'll get right back to you in just a second. Fingers are dirty. I was starting to pit up, so I got to log in there right now. Mosquitoes are bad today, and it's such a nice, cool evening. I'm like, why are the mosquitoes out? So I've been spraying the hell out of myself. That's the only thing bad about doing videos outside is just the weather. And it rained like crazy Saturday, so me and my wife were just indoors all day. We just slept, got up, ate, slept, watched TV, just really lounged around. Start kissing strangers, right, ball? Right? Go up to strangers. I don't think her husband would like that though, because then he'd have to go up and start kissing strangers too, right, Heather? But did y'all see my video that I posted earlier about the guy in Lubbock, the father, 54-year-old father? And I know there was quite a few comments on that. And, we could dive into this and look at it from this angle and that angle, the logistics of, well, did he have the legal right to be there? Did the guy have the legal right to defend himself? I mean, there's so many angles to that, right? And rather than look at this, the different angles, the gist of it, the overall picture, because my mind works with rhyme and reason, cause and effect, right? If you don't do this, this doesn't happen. It's just the motto that I live by, right? And that's what's got me to this point. I can't believe that guy's going to walk. He should have been charged. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. But I think the angle, if you look at it from his attorney's point of view, is number one, he asked him to leave, right? So now you have trespassing, right? Because regardless of what the court order says you're supposed to get that is between him and the mother, right? And he should have legally just said, "I'll see you in court," and walked away. Now you step into the territory, especially for Texas, is property rights, right? And whether that was actually his house or the girlfriend's house, the ex-wife, I don't know, right? I'm assuming it was the ex-wife, but she could easily say, "Hey, look, I, I'm calling the cops for trespassing." Now, she's still obligated by the courts to hand the kids over, and that's on her. But two wrongs don't make a right, all right? And this is where it gets tricky because from the father's all he's seeing is tunnel vision, right? He sees, I have a court order. I'm supposed to get the kids on these days, and you're supposed to turn them over to a period, right? It doesn't go into legal properties and crossing boundaries and whether or not, um, you know, if he was asked to leave and he didn't leave, he should have left or he should have gone to the curb to the street. I don't know anything about that story. Oh well, I posted it on the community page and I also posted a link on my last video. So if you get a chance, go check it out. Very interesting, and it was here in Texas. But what he should have did, yes, he was angry. Yes, he had the right to pick up the kids and be there. But once they asked him to leave, he should have left. He should have gone to the street and said, "I'm on the street. Technically, it's not the property." He should have called the cops and said, "Hey, I have a legal court order to get my kids. They've asked me to step off the property. I'm off the property." But this is where the male bullshit machoism comes into play because you you know that guy had tunnel vision and all he could see was, I'm here to get my kids. I'm supposed to get them. Court order. You're supposed to give them to me. Despite all the other factors going on, private property, they asked you to leave. There's a gun that was introduced into the picture. Those are all signs that you should probably walk away. It doesn't mean you lost the battle. It doesn't mean you're going to lose. It just means, hey, you need to get the F out of here right now. Go to the street, call the cops, and just say, hey, I'm off your property. I'm calling the cops. Because then number one, the courts would have been in his favor for the court order. Number two, I I don't think that he would have got off the hook for coming out of the house with the firearm. And in fact, if I saw the video correctly, it looked like he fired one the first time when he had the gun. When he first confronted him, he had the gun down, it looked like he was doing a warning shot off, and then that's when they were struggling for the gun. And then he broke away and said, "Pop, pop," which means you can tell he went to the gun range. I mean, he knew what he was doing, right? Let's see what I agree. Rated. I don't think he should be charged. Yeah, and so I'm not saying that the 54-year-old was murdered, but regardless of however you want to classify it, he is deceased. He will be buried 6 feet under unless they have him cremated. He is dead. Whatever term you want to call it, murdered, dead, deceased, he's gone. His soul has left his body, and I don't say that lightly. I'm just saying the point is all that macho bullshit that I'll take that from you and I'll use it on you or shoot you with it. Look where it got him. If he would have just stayed calm, breathed, and said, "I'm here to get my kids. If you don't, if you don't bring my kids out or my daughter out," I think he had one was waiting on. "I'm calling the cops. I'll see you in court." How hard is that? You know, it would have been a whole different picture had he said that, walked away, and then the boyfriend come out with the firearm. Then he would have been in the 100% correct right. And the guy, the boyfriend, would have been in the wrong. Case closed. That simple. Exactly. And when he said that, Keith, and again, I'm not defending the guy that came out with the firearm that shot the ex-husband. I'm saying that the moment that he said those words, and that's why I did my video earlier. If you saw it, I said words matter. Be careful how you say your words because in court, that's what the attorneys are going to point out. Not only hearsay, but they actually have the video of him saying that. So now they're going to say, look, he came out, he said leave. He did tell the guy to leave. He didn't leave, right? Then the guy made the threat and said, I'll take that firearm from you, right? Hey, Urban Grandpa. Hello, YouTube. What's going on, Urban Grandpa? Then he said, I'll take that firearm from you, right? And I'll use it on you. That is a threat. And he took it that way. So now he can say, because there's only one version of the story plus the video, right? There is no other side of the story because that guy is deceased. He's dead. So now he can go to court and say, look, I felt for the safety of my life. And I'm sorry if I'm hitting the microphone. I felt endangered. I felt my life was in danger. I felt threatened. I feared for my life because he said those words. And he went for my firearm. So now I really felt scared. That's the evidence. That's the case they're going to make. And I'm willing to bet, because we're in Texas and because of those circumstances, I'm willing to bet there will be no charges filed against them. They'll go to court, they'll have a trial. I'm not saying that they're not going to have a trial, but I'm willing to bet he will not be charged at the end of the day. He will not serve any time. He will not have anything legally filed against him. The I know that the deceased, the 54-year-old man, his current wife now will fight for custody for those kids. That's a whole different battle. Whether she would get them or not, I don't know. And honestly, as a parent, not as a mother, but as a parent, I think that she should not do that. I think because number one, those are not her kids, right? Number two, those kids are already traumatized. So not only is their father deceased and gone, they'll never see again. Why would you want to take those kids away from their mother? Why? Those are not your kids, you know? She has to live with that. She's the mother. Those kids have to live with that. Why are you going to double traumatize them even more by fighting for that and having their mother, having them taken away from their mother? Regardless if she's a BICT, what blah 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 blah. I don't want to say the word. Regardless if she's a B, that is their mother, and they are better off with their mother, as the courts will see fit, right? Unless she's on drugs, leaving the kids out at midnight, um, crack house, prostitute, whatever. The courts are not gonna take the kids away from their biological mother. They're just not in Texas, and I can tell you that for a fact. That is not. Those are not her kids. Those are not her kids. And in Texas, like I said, they're not gonna side with her on that. There would have to be, if anything, the courts are going to, if the courts take the kids away from the mother, those kids would go with the next of kin, which would be the grandmother. If she was living there with her, or if the grandmother was able to take her in, or a sibling, they're not going to give those kids to the deceased husband, deceased wife, the deceased wife, because those are not her kids. And I know this, guys. I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet that it plays out like that. So I don't know. It's just interesting. It's an interesting story because it involves the 2A gun community, right? Gun ownership, being responsible, um, taking a person's life. And hey, KP, how's it going? But these are things that you know a lot of people don't comprehend. They don't think. I was watching Backwoods live chat, and Hutch brought this out, and that is you take on the responsibility when you acquire that tool, that firearm, that gun, that rifle. You acquire that responsibility. That burden is on you. Anything that happens in your possession, anything that you do, any results of the firearm being under your care, that is all on you. That is your responsibility to either be a responsible person, making sure the gun is not accessible to kids or to criminals, making sure you lock it up, being responsible with it, right? Not having it with you when you're drinking and shit. I mean, that is a responsibility that you represent all the other gun owners in some degree. I'm not saying you represent or I represent how people are, but believe it or not, there are a lot of, I won't say shitty people, but there are a lot of stupid people that think because I was able to buy the gun, I have it on my hip or whatever. And I'm not knocking anyone specific. I'm just saying in general, there are a lot of people that just, they're careless, right? They probably either need more training or they need to do more studying or reading up on firearms ownership, um, their judgment is just questionable. I'm not saying they're a bad person. They just, they make the rest of the gun people or the community look bad, look like we're crazies, and we're not. You know. Let me see what some people are. Let me shout out some people here, right? Let me shout it out because I got people jumping in. I got Keith, Gregory. We got Gun Loving Grandpa. We got Heather. We have Josh Benware, if he's still here. Keith, I said that name already. We got Jesus, Bald and Curious, my brother. Who else? We got Keith, Awkward Texan, which I like to, which we all know as Deanne. Like that name a lot better. But hey, Texan, it's all good. Urban Grandpa, hello YouTube. Back again. I love when he says that. He's like, hello YouTube. Back again. So let's see who else we got there. I know we saw more people. KP in the house. KP. So, mm-hmm. Do it up. Y'all go pick out Urban Grandpa when y'all get a chance. So let's see what he said. It's a lot of people who should not own a gun until like driving. Yeah, and it's sad to say that there are some people that are just on point. I mean, they just get it right. Some people are just taught when they're young, those guns over there, you don't ever touch them. As a kid, you just know. My grandfather told me that. Don't you ever put your hands on them guns, you know? Don't touch them, don't go near 'em. Don't put your finger on the trigger, nothing. Those are my guns and you don't need to be around them. And he just that's all he told me. He didn't tell me why. We didn't get into the logistics of things. Hi Vanessa, how you doing? Welcome. He didn't get into the logistics of this and that. He just said, "Don't go near them, don't touch them. They're mine." Never did growing up. Didn't really even get into pew pews until probably 37, 38, and that was late in the game. So same with my I remember the story that you had wrote on there, Heather. And it's as a parent, you want to be a responsible gun owner, right? And you want to talk to your kids at the right appropriate time that you feel that they're capable of processing that. But you have to be responsible, right? And some people get it, right? Because they have common sense. And then there's some people that just don't fucking get it, and they're just like clueless. And I'm like, they play Call of Duty. They go and buy the tactical vests and tactical lights and tactical pants and the 511 belt, and they want to be John Wick, and it's like, and you look at them, you're just like, dude, this is real life, man. Like, I mean, we can talk about it and get all giggity giggity, and that's what guys do. But then there's the reality part of like being responsible, right? And just thinking about your actions and how you being a gun owner, how that impacts the people that are around you, and how it can impact your own life. Same. Yeah, some people do and some people don't. Everyone learns and trains at their. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, and yes, to all that you said, Vanessa, Keith, Heather, but there are some people that just don't get it, and it's like, dude, we just had class training, right? Someone's just gone over this with you. You see the news, right? The reality is when you shoot something, and don't get me wrong, I like to have fun. I've made videos in the past of like shooting clay targets, shooting, um, beer cans up in the air, shooting 2 liter bottle waters, and just having them explode with double R buck, just fun stuff, right? But I also think about my actions. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Step one. And I told my cousin we're gonna do this, and I'm not gonna write the slide until we begin, and load one in the chamber. I mean, we kind of we communicate on that level because it's all fun and games to shoot video, right, of you shooting your firearm, even at the gun range. I try to be mindful that I don't want someone to think, oh, here goes this guy setting up his camera doing videos. I want to do it in a discreet way because I don't want to be the guy at the gun range. It's like, look at me. That's what's up. Yo, yo, yo. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the idiot that everyone's looking at like, I have to really share a lane with this dude, or this is the guy that's going to be out in pub. My dad taught me target practice. Yeah, I mean you get it. So it's just stuff like that that kind of centers from that story that I saw of that man. And I'm just like, how quickly does your life change? When somebody's irresponsible, or when you're uh, irresponsible on your part. Yo, 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 that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? For shizzle my nigga. I can only take so much of that, Heather. I really can't. I'm like, I talk right. I can't take it. I can't take it. I cannot take it. Oh my God. I got two girls. They know guns. Yeah. And that's good when you talk to them. I've taken my daughters out to the gun range. I put on videos years ago. Hey, Laura, what's going on? So, welcome to the party. Welcome to the happy hour. I need to get those lights to like blam, 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 bam, 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 flash, 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 flash. It's a club scene remix. So but I try to keep it level-headed. I try to like be conscious of my surroundings, people that are watching. Lead by example, right? That's key. Lead by example. So anyway, what would you like to talk about? Throw me a topic out. Something interesting on your mind? Do you want to hear my take on something? If not, I will try to go to the next topic. So it's kind of just free for all. I'm just kind of just easy going, chill. Urban grandpa. My dad was raised in such a wow. No cop shows up. Wow, that's crazy, Vanessa. I was thinking about something, Vanessa, just related to what you just said, and I was thinking about like born in the '70s, grew up in the '80s, right? Graduated in the early '90s, and then I've been working ever since then, right? Ever since I was 15. But I think about all the movies that we saw growing up, right, that had guns in them. I mean, from comedy guns, like movies like Blazing Saddles, classic movie, will never be made again, just so you know. And it had all kind of people in it, all races from different backgrounds. It was just kind of poking fun at the whole different stereotypes of people, right? To actions like Lone Wolf McQuay with Chuck Norris, Predator, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. All those action movies, right? What's your take on all the California crew flooding to Austin? I will tell you that in a little bit, my friend. Faco, born in '61. I will tell you that soon. But I was thinking about how differently, our lives would have been if they made, if we did not see the movies that we saw that they made back then with firearms, right? How how different would life be, right? How different would life be currently and past for video gamers, right? Shooter games, right? Call of Duty, all those, right? Franchises. Moving forward, how different would our life be if they just take all that and kind of say it's only for military use and we're not going to glorify it? We're not going to produce any more movies, no more video games. How boring or different will your life be? I mean, it's entertainment in a lot of ways, right? Movies, video games. It's a money making thing, right? People make money off that. Um, It's kind of a win-win for a lot of people on a lot of sides. Now, the downside would be, you know, people that are anti-gun or people that don't support the 2A. You know, how different is would your life be if we didn't grow up that way? Any citizen should be able to. Well, let's talk about that too in just a second here, Vanessa. You know what? Let me answer that question. I'm going to answer Faco's question because he did ask that earlier. I think here's a debate that we go back on many times, back and forth, right? It's it's the people that are law-abiding citizens, taxpayers, good, pillars of the community, people that follow the law, people that that use it for their business. Maybe they own a farm, right? They got to protect their animals or livestock, or people that are paid to hunt, for game or for sport, right? Or competition shooting. Um, and then you do something in life, right? Such as a criminal act, or you have some type of felony that now hovers over your head because you made a stupid mistake, made a stupid choice, a decision, right? Uh, Maybe you were caught in something that escalated to that point. Whatever the case may be, right? You broke the law, you know, now you have a record. And the question is, do you get a second chance at life? Some people will say, well, if you serve your time, sure, why not? Um, some people say, hey, you fucked up. No, you're done. You don't ever get a chance again. You shouldn't have made those bad choices, right? And there's people like, well, Second Amendment will not infringe. It applies to all of us. I have the right to protect myself regardless if I'm a shithead, crackhead, drug dealer, a pimp, right? An abuser, rob banks, whatever it may be, I have the right to defend myself. When you look at it like that, they're like, whoa, 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 don't get carried away, right? We're not talking about all those dudes. Well, it's either you do or you don't, right? It's either we all have the rights, or just some of us have the rights, the ones that fall under the category of you're a good citizen, right? Period. Right? You follow the law, you don't break the law, you do the right thing, you made right choices. You now have the right to buy firearms, right? Then you have your felons, like you don't need to be anywhere near firearms. You broke the law, you're banned from them, right? Even if you go and serve your time, you come out, you fucked up. That's on you, not me, right? Because there is no gray area. It's either you do or you don't, right? And that's the issue or topic, and I don't want to argue about it here, but that is the thing. Is like, do we all have the right to defend ourselves? Do we all have the right uh, to defend ourselves in the act of self-defense? I think the majority of us would say, yeah. In general, if you don't get into specifics, we all have the right. But what about that dude over there who like killed three people, manslaughter, DWI, robbed the bank, killed a security guard? Or what about that guy that you know, did some bad things to little kids? Does he have the same right? You know, I mean, me personally, I think that if you mess up in life and if you fall under the line of a felon or whatever, you probably shouldn't be in your firearms for some reason. Now, in some cases, people fuck up, not such a bad deal, right? They don't do anything. They pay their dues. They get their rights back, right? I'm not the law. I don't determine that. So it's a real touchy slope line to walk on because so many people, because obviously, if you're on the side of the criminal felon side, you feel like, look, if I serve my time and I get out and I'm doing good, I should get my rights back, right? Because it affects you, right? Versus the ones that says, hey, that don't bother me now. You can pass 50 more laws. I'm gonna pass them all. You know why? Because my record's clean. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a good citizen. I'm not a felon. I don't break any laws. And I've said that before to other people. I said, honestly, I get why people get up in arms about um, no pun intended, they get up in arms about, oh, no more laws, no more, that's it. And I'm like, to me, the reality is it's more loops, but it's not going to hold me back. Why? Because I don't have a record, right? I'm a good guy. I play by the book. I'm what you call one of those guys. So it doesn't bother me if they come up with 10 more rules, 10 more laws, because chances are I'm going to pass them. I don't have any issues. It's the ones that have the records that it impacts them. They don't like that because it bothers them. And I'm not trying to argue about it. I'm just kind of responding to your question. Let me see some of these comments here because the chat's blowing up. You guys are killing it. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna come back to you, Faco. I promise. So kids were already committing crimes, and which is indeed another crime, bearing the age as they did. Yeah, Faco. I wish the end result is the yeah, good. Who said gun laws stop felons? Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the other aspect of it, Keith. Is it doesn't matter what I say. I'm just giving you my take. But the reality is, it doesn't stop criminals from getting guns. You could pass 50 more laws. It's just more hurdles for the good guys like us to get those firearms. But the bad guys, you could do 100 more. It doesn't matter. They're going to get their guns. So it's like, it's finding that balance because the reality is if you take the guns from the good guys, then they have no way of defending from the bad guys. The bad guys are still going to find a way to get the firearm. And then you end up turning the good people into criminals because they're having to get obtain those illegally. So, let's see. And we all have the right to keep and bear arms and not just firearms. Yep. Sticks and stones, right? And Negan bats, right? Many states do not give your rights back. AGP, I'm in Cleveland, go Bucks. All right, my wife's cousin bought a fancy urban place in Austin via Cali. She was confused when a homeless gal made camp on her patio. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna come back to you, Faco. Okay, so let's answer Faco's question. And his question, if I can go back to it, I need to just download the StreamYard or stream something so I can get fancy with these chats. And I'm gonna work on getting me a microphone too. So I'm getting there, guys. Just trying to step up my game a little bit. So, all right. Well, where is it? What's your take on? Okay, Farco asked, "What's your take on the California crew flooding to the Austin area?" So here's my take on it. Born and raised in the Austin, Central Texas area. Born and raised. I saw back in the day, nobody was hardly on the highway Sundays. When people drove by, you waved, right? You drove, waved. People passed you up, you let them up, they give you the wave, right? I remember when certain streets, parts of town, were small. Now lanes have expanded. The east side is not the east side. There are no more Latin, Hispanic, Mexican communities on that. They've all moved south of Austin, like the Carl Buda area. Look it up on a map, and it's Buda, not Buddha. A lot of people say Buda, and Kyle. That's south of Austin. A lot of them have sold their properties, moved out to the south. But my thought is, there's no stopping. There's no stopping. Just like there's no stopping the system of this new world order, this thing that we're seeing roll out. There's no stopping, and there's no going back to the old ways. Austin's gone. The Austin that I grew up in is gone, right? That I remember. I don't live in Austin anymore, but I'm familiar with it because I was born and raised there. And but the thing is like it's too late. Uh, that ship has sailed as far as ever going back to what it once was. Um, it's probably three, if not four times the size it was when I was growing up downtown. Um, does anybody know Gay and Filtered? If uh, yeah, go ahead and thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. You know, I don't know why people come and try to spam my channel. Like I'm like, hey, go to one of the bigger channels, the ones that have like thousands and thousands. I'm just a small channel. There's nobody here important. Just go somewhere else. Trust me. So anyway, thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. That's why I got her as a moderator. I'm gonna pick somebody else here soon too. Texas gal, well established. Yeah, tell them purple the gal. Yeah. So the thing is like, my thought is, and I've heard that what happens is people, and see, the thing is, the people from California. No offense to them, because I know plenty of people that have moved here and they're like, oh, I love it here. It's such a great state. It's awesome. The thing is, and thank you again, Heather. The thing is, just like when people come from another country, right? And Texas is its own country. I know people will say, ah, get out of here. People don't understand when they move here, Texans are proud of their state, right? There are a lot of people from California, a lot of people from California. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what lit a fire up their ass, but they all want to move here. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. I heard a while back that what they were doing was they were selling their house in California, or wherever in California. And let's say they were getting, I don't know, 300, 400,000, right? This was a while back, years ago. They were able to come to Austin, Texas, right? Buy a home, not just buy that home. They were able to buy at least three or four homes for what they sold their house there. Some of those folks, what they were doing was, and what I'm sure they're still doing today, is they're selling their property in California, right? The ones that got in early, they came here, they bought three or four houses, right? Flipped them. They're living in one, they're renting the others out. That's their income. When whenever you visit Austin or go through downtown, or I hear family members that would tell me, man, I see these people, they're running Town Lake, which is now Lady Bird Lake. They're running downtown with their shirt off, they're all cut up, and they're just like cruising. And I'm thinking, man, do these people not have jobs? They don't have to work. They're living off the rent income that they have, like three or four houses, and they have their own place. And or they're self-employed, right? They're doing part-time work and they're collecting the income. They don't have to work, right? Well, that caught on to many, many other Californians, right? And so the Californians that have moved here, that are in that fishbowl, and there's some Hispanics that I know that have came over, and they're like, there was no future in California. There were no jobs. There was, you know, I know one family that moved here like 15 years ago. They live in Waco. Was, trying to make ends meet, working, 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 working. Was going to school, had two kids, a wife, not getting anywhere, right? Cost of living in California is expensive. Hey, what's up, First Shot? Sorry if I missed you. 15 years ago, they moved to Waco. At the time, Waco was nothing. Chip and Joanna, you know the show Chip and Joanna, the flip houses? They put Waco on the map. You go through Waco now, it's like a freaking big ass city. They're building the highways, the lanes are expanding. I mean, it's a great town. It's not even a town, it's a city now. Hey, Thomas, they put Waco on the map. The house market has just gone up so much. They're overpopulated. They can't keep up with the roads. Um, people flock here, right? And they're just like, hey, this is great. It's great for them, right? And they come into an environment and this goes back to when other people come to this country, you always, as Americans, you want them to adapt to our culture, right? You don't want them to come here and say, hey, take down the flag that offends me. I don't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Jesus or Christ or God, that offends me, right? I want to cover my face up. You want them to embrace our culture, our country, You want them to be an American. You want them to become Americanized, right? Of course, we know that today, people that come here, they don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about our values. They don't give a shit about. They're not here for that. And they may be saying that with all due respect, right? But honestly, at the end of the day, they don't give a crap about that. All they care about is making money, sending it back home to their country, and so forth, right? Right? And I understand that. I'm not knocking them, but at the same point, I want them to appreciate this country and all the opportunities it's given them, right? Yes, you're right. Waco's known for two things: the Branch Davidians and Chip and Joanna, Magnolia. That's all they're known for. So that has blown up. But back to Faco's thing, and my thought is the people that come here, they think it's great, right? And bless their hearts, because you can see the ones that are really embracing. They're like, oh, I love Texas, it's the best, and I want to embrace the barbecue and the Big Red. I've never heard of Big Red, and that the HEB stores are great, and just the people are here. Mexican food's not that good because they always complain about the Mexican food here, right? I'm like, my first thought is nobody told your ass to come. Why'd you move here? They're like, oh, well, there's a better job, and I could buy a couple of houses, and the housing was affordable, and there's, of course, Texas. I'm gonna share the secrets out. The economy in Texas has always thrived. That's why everybody comes here for education. Aside from the military bases, I mean, we're just growing. We're like just stacking them up, stacking them up. People want to move here because of jobs, because of better living, the people, the culture. That is changing. Once you introduce people from other states that are not from here, they don't understand the whole waving, being polite, thank you, being courteous, right? Being hospitality. They bring that attitude from New York, Chicago, LA. They don't want to adapt and change. Same thing with the foreigners. So they end up ultimately fucking up Texas because, and this is why Texans get mad and they're like, dude, go back to California. I ain't trying to be rude, but if you're going to come here, become a Texan. Don't try to make Texas the way it was over there. If you want that, stay your ass in California. Same thing with foreigners. Stay your ass over there, but you can't tell them that because they don't want to hear it, right? And so that is the big pushback between Texans and Californians is that they pretty much have dominated Austin. I mean, you'll be. It's rare that you go up to somebody and you're like, "Hey, are you from here?" Like, "No, I'm from California. I'm from Chicago. I'm from wherever." And it's like, where are all the Texans at? Well, guess what? Californians have pushed out all the Texans into the outskirts of the small towns that are now growing, right? So, but Paco, regardless of what I think or say, that at the end of the day, it is what it is. Californians are taking over Texas, which could ultimately change from a red state to a blue state. So this is the thing that people don't realize, right? When they come here from other countries or they come from other states to the great state of Texas, which we think this is our country, right? Is they don't realize that they're slowly destroying the great things that drew them here, the things that they love, the hospitality, the barbecue, the environment, the people. They are slowly destroying that and they don't understand that. And if you sit here and try to give them logic, they don't care about that. The same way the foreigners, Californians don't care for the most part. You will find some that say, hey, I want to embrace Texan cultures. I want to become a Texan. Embrace me so that I can become a native Texan, which they'll never be. But as they live here and progress here, they bring their values, their ideas, their way of living, their politics, right? So you think about, oh, guns coast to coast. How's it going? You think about when people say, man, San Francisco, LA, the homeless population is horrible. Years ago, we had city council, the Austin City Council, and something. They actually decided, hey, let's go to San Francisco. Let's see how they're doing it. They brought their ideas which is all money making, right? And then you wonder why there's a bad homeless population from California and other states. They interviewed a homeless guy a couple of years ago, and they asked him, "Where are you from?" Take a guess where he said he was from, Paco. California. And then the second question was, "Why did you move to Austin?" And the guy said, "It's great here. The weather's great. The people are nice. They're generous. You can live on the street. You can get money. They have homeless shelters. It's just a great environment. It's so great, even the homeless people want to move here. But they are fucking it up, to be honest with you." So you want to know my take? That's my take, Faco. They're ruining Texas. The best advice I can tell anybody that wants to come here, and this is nothing personal, but if you ask me, what is your advice when I come to Texas? Embrace the culture, embrace the state, embrace the traditions. If you're here because of all these good things and values, embrace them. Don't bring your bullshit from over there, right? And don't try to make Texas like it is home. Because if that's the case, you should have just stayed there. And you should have just suck it up, buttercup. Oh, well, you have to pay high prices. By you coming here now, and that's the other thing, it's driving up all the houses. The street that my grandfather lives on, or lived on, they're all one-story houses. One story. The whole neighborhood. This is where I grew up in. Yes, yeah, exactly, Falco. I agree. Austin and Nashville are very similar, twin cities. They've already knocked down one house, and they made that house that the whole neighborhood is on. It is now a two-story house. It has a studio garage in the back, which means one person single can rent it, and then they have a little unit in the back. So essentially, you can have three incomes if you have three different people there, right? You have a family living in the main house because there's that much property in that neighborhood. The houses are just selling, right? It only takes one house for it to go up that. Before I know it, I give it another year or two, they're going to build a second one because now that two-story house is the only one that sticks like out like a sore thumb. It's like a this, and then all the houses are here, and it's like you just ruined it now because now everyone else is sales, and it's probably going to be a business corporation decides to go and start buying them out. So the neighborhood is slowly changing, and this is exactly what happened to the east side of Park, which is the Hispanic Latino side, the Mexican side. East Austin is not East Austin, and I'm gonna say this with all due respect. So I love everyone out there. So don't take this personal. But one of my family members, I asked him, I said, man, I said, that grew up on the east side. I didn't grow up on the east side. I grew up on the north side of town. And I said, man, the east side is different, right? It's like it's not the east side no more. They said, no, man, it's the white side now. All white people live there now. You look around, there's no Hispanics, there's no blacks. It's just white people, and that's not saying anything against white people. It is what it is. It's the market, it's the economy. Um, but that's how much has changed the environment. Can you imagine if you went to Beverly Hills, right? The Kardashians, all the Hollywood superstars, right? The majority is white. I mean, there are some other cultures, but imagine going there and all the people that are low income move into those neighborhoods and they say, man, Beverly Hills is not the same. They're like, it ain't Beverly Hills no more. It's Minority Hills. It's the same thing. It is what it is. And it's not for me, it's not a race thing. It's not a white or black or brown. It is what it is, right? It's just once Austin introduces gentrification in the neighborhoods, right? They make the neighborhoods gentrify is what they call it, right? That's what sets the trend in the direction that they're in now. So the way Austin is now, that is a product that happened years ago. And I want to say that as far back as I can remember, let's see, I left in 01. No, I came back in 01, 2, probably like oh 04 to oh 06 that I can think back that far, is when they started coming up with these ideas that they wanted to gentrify Austin and the neighborhoods, right? Make them more uplifting, right? So if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, we want to put a big store, box store there. We want to, they want to put a Target there, and they want to put a Starbucks over here." And it's like, great, man, we're bringing these things to the community. It's slowly progressing for the community, for the neighborhoods, right, to upscale, right? The people that live there don't necessarily upscale. The neighborhood is upscaling. And when it upscales, guess what? The property becomes, the neighborhoods, they become more expensive, right? Got to fix the roads. We got to put new this and that, new lighting, new street light, right? That's more money. The people there, they don't upscale their income. They stay. So all the people that were on the east side, they now live in Buda and Kyle, which is south of Boston, and it's probably miles, probably 20, 30 miles, but time wise to drive, you know, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, I guess. I mean, Buda is right outside South Austin. It's almost connected, so not even that much. From South Austin, the tip of South Austin to Buda, you're probably looking within 10 minutes or less because it's just expanded so much. And then you drive up a little bit more, then there's Kyle, and then San Marcos and New Braunfels, and then you get closer to San Antonio. All that's connecting. Let me go back to some of the comments because I cannot keep up. Because Faco asked me that question and it's just taken off. So, man, when I've had two or three people, it's easy to take. But now I got a lot of comments. I'm like, people, and I appreciate it. I love it. I wish they would all just leave our state alone. Okay, let's see. Target. Let's see. He wrote a script, but I think what you are describing is actually a rural versus urban thing. Rural people are generally nicer than urban. Yeah, and as the people move due to cost of living, jobs relocated. Yes, and all that's a factor. I'm not blaming necessarily the people that want to get out of California because they want a better life for themselves. Because there's other factors. There's better jobs. The cost of living is better. Everyone that has moved that I can recall that has moved from other states, they always say Texas is such a great state. I love it here. The people are good and the housing is affordable. Right? Still a great state. People, well, a lot of the native Texans have moved on. Cost of living, it's getting bad. Right? So it's just cause and effects. And like I always say, when YouTube first started out, right? It was kind of the Wild West. You do what you want, upload what you want. There was really no regulation. It was kind of a free for all. Once it turned into a money thing, right, and people could get paid to be a YouTube star, right, which is one of my beefs that I've had before in the past that I kind of talk about with other channels wanting to live up to love you, Red. Talk to you later. Okay, brother. Take care, Faco. Tell your relative, welcome to Texas, and tell them don't mess it up to confine to our ways. So be a Texan. So. Uh, But anyway, the thing is like, um, what was I saying? Damn it, what was I saying? Somebody drop a comment. What was I talking about? Hey, Walter. Hey, Walter. Welcome to the chat. Try to welcome everybody. You get priced out if regions do not cost a living. Yeah, and exactly. It says I get letters and phone calls every day, 7 days a week to buy. Urban prepper. That is a known common fact that realtors will go after people, and it's amazing because my brother-in-law and he kids around, but he's like he says he gets his call all the time. You want to sell? You want to sell? He finally said, you know what? You give me 500,000 as is. You give me 500,000. The house is yours. His house is probably valued between 300,000 and 350 in that range. I know it's a big range, but a lot of the houses in that area, they're going generally for about 3 to 350 if it's well off. Uh, if it's a bigger lot house with upgrades and a new fresh uh, paint job, and maybe other extras, you're looking at 4 to 500,000 easy for established homes that have been there since the 60s, 70s, maybe even earlier than that. That's just how much. And those houses, I can tell you this: the houses in the Austin area, once they go on the market, they're only on there for a few days. I kid you not. My brother, who was looking for a house in the Austin area, says that he could never make it to the house to view it because he was working, right, him and his wife, and then they would say, "Oh, there's a house we want to see." They'd call the realtor and says, "Hey, we'd like to go by," and they would schedule 2 or 3 days out, right, from today. Like, "Hey, is it available?" And they're like, "Well, let's say he called Monday," and they're like, "Well, you can come by Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever." He said by the time they were supposed to go see the house was off the market. Somebody bought it. They're not going to hold it if you want to see it. They're like, whoever puts the cash up front, they get it. So he said they just kept running into the same thing. It's like, man, every time we want to see a house, like if we don't go that day, if we set an appointment up, they tell us it could be gone by the time you get there. And he says every time without fail, the house is sold. That's just how quickly the houses are selling in the Austin area because people are wanting to move here. They can't keep up with the housing. There's apartments constantly being built, houses. Tesla they have their factory being built near the toll road and close to South Austin near the airport. That thing is like 3 football stadiums of fields. I mean, that thing is huge. Tesla from California. So think about all the jobs that are wanting to move here. People from there are going to move here. People that are here that are going to apply. I mean, Samsung is here. Dell was a big company. They pretty much have, I won't say gone under, but they're not like they were back when I was in high school. I mean, they were like the dominating factor company to work for. Um, it's just a high tech market, right? And there's a lot of opportunity, entrepreneurial jobs here. I mean, you could just establish your business here. I mean, there's so many fields to go into. It's just, I mean, it's um it's unlimited. The market. If you want to get into food, entertainment, not so much, but like the food market, the food trucks, it's just blowing up, right? Plenty of jobs, right? And I shouldn't even be saying that to y'all. So, but I mean, the cat's out of the bag, the secret's out there. People are they want to move here. If they're not moving to Austin, which is the number one dominating, fastest growing city, uh, Austin is your place to live, right? If you like the Hispanic, the Mexican culture, San Antonio, right? My fingers are dirty because I was doing stuff out at the yard at my grandpa's, right? If you want big corporation, big city like LA, go to Houston. Love to see you over there. No thanks. If you like more museum, sports entertainment, big city life, and just thriving economy, go to Dallas. Fort Worth is right to the left of that, you know. Uh, but those are your major players, your major cities. And from San Antonio to Austin, all the way up to Fort Worth and Dallas, it's pretty much just all connecting on 35. So, anyway, I'm talking and talking and talking. I need a drink. Yes, they are with you. It makes me so mad. Okay, let me see. Yes, local East Side have the best food. Yeah, and so when I say about East Side, please don't take it offensive. I love my white people, I love my black people, I love my brown people, I love all people. But I'm a very descriptive person, and I'm just giving you the history of the different regions. Like where I grew up, it was middle class, blue collar community, and it was my grandparents, which were Hispanic, and me. and my aunt, who was still living at the house at the time. There was only one other Hispanic family on the block. Everybody else was white. And I just remember all the white neighbors that we had. They're pretty much gone. There's only a few of them there. It's mainly a Hispanic Mexican culture now. But with that new house that they built, I'm sure it's going to change the dynamic and the culture. So, yeah, it is what it is. They have a new soccer stadium that they built close to my grandfather's. The domain is right there. I mean, it's just blowing up. I mean, you wouldn't believe it, guys. So let's see. Who did I miss? Good evening, Walter. They hike. They hike. Yeah, and and here's the thing, urban prepper, urban grandpa prepper. If you're still here with us, eventually, here's the thing that's scary. Here's the reality. As you get older, your income base does not necessarily go up or keep up with the markets. They will end up driving the market, the value of your property. And here's the key, guys, if you don't know, it's not the house that they want, it's the property value. If you have an established neighborhood from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you fast forward to today, you see how tiny the houses are, you see how up close they are, you see the yard footage. If you go into an established community that has been around from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, those properties are bigger. They're able to put, and then going back to the east side, I'm gonna tell you this. What they did was they bought let's say they bought a house, right? They knocked down that house and they put like 4 units. That means 4 income-based renters on one property. That it was that big, they were able to have the driveways for the parking, the garage, the studio, condos. They're putting 4 units on a property. And so that's big money. And then, of course, you're downtown for all the concerts, the ACL. What is it? Austin City Limits, the music festivals. I mean, Austin's a very like it. They used to say it was the music capital of the world. Now I think it's Nashville is the music capital. But just the environment, the culture, it's a toxic mixture of like everyone is drawn here. I mean, there's other music events, and I can't think. South by Southwest is one of the hugest ones. We're not known for rodeos here. It's more Houston. If you want to see the big rodeo, that's the one to go to in Houston. But people are just drawn here from that. And what happens is they plan those events around the cooler months. Like right now, it's cool. I'm outside December. It's not snowing. It won't get cold here till early, mid January, into January, probably through March. So they have concerts coming in October, November, not so really in December, right? Um, April, May, everybody comes and like, man, this weather is beautiful. It's so awesome. And like, yeah, just stick around for the summer months. It's like triple digits, and the humidity kills people. And it's like, God, like, yeah, they brought you here on the cool months, not the hot months. This is a good place to retire. Yeah, it is. It is, no doubt. And I can tell you this, Urban Grandpa, I would never leave Texas. I would move out further if I need to. Um, there's really not any other place I would want to go to. Montana, Colorado, sounds interesting, fun. New Mexico to see the mountains, but my home is here in Texas. Texas. Born and raised, I'm a Texan. I'm a proud Texan till the day I die, and I want to be buried here in Texas. But going back to your property tax, you will get your taxes will drive you out eventually. And I would say this, and I know people don't want to hear this because my grandpa was a stubborn man. You don't want to leave your home, but I would always suggest and encourage that you plan for that day. You plan for the day. The day will come where either you'll live long enough and you'll either be your kids will put you in a nursing home, but you don't want to leave, or the day will come when you're like, we can't live here no more. And this is where the saying goes, home is where you make it. Home is where you make it. Yes, home is where the heart is. It's where we grew up, but home is where you make it. And so while I have a lot of sentimental value with my grandfather's house, my home is here. My home is here, and my home is right here. And if 10 years from now we sell this house, it'll be my, wherever we move to, that'll be my home. But I'm still in Texas, you know, and I'm proud of it. So anyway, I hope that you don't have to move, urban grandpa. I hope you get to pass away in your house, which is what my grandfather wanted, and he got as close as he could be. They were building new apartment buildings. Here's the thing, urban grandpa, they are putting up. See, so that's a sign. I mean, in the next several to 10 years, you will see what we're talking about. Then remember this conversation. It sucks, man, because my wife is like, I'm telling my best friend's wife. The thing is like, what was I gonna say? My wife says this. My wife says, okay, if we move to grandpa's, the house is paid, right? Mortgage free. But the taxes are a lot more in Austin versus where we live. And we live outside of Austin, thank God. Taxes are much higher. And I'm like, yeah, but stay here and pay a mortgage for the next 14 plus years and insurance. Move over there, pay no mortgage, pay the taxes, which we can pay a little toward every month. Right. And she's like, I know. She goes, but then my fear is the taxes get so high. My wife has even said this now, and we're my wife's in her early 50s. I'm only 47, only 47, right? Old guy. But my wife's like, okay, well, so let's say we do that. And my fear is the taxes will go up, and I'm like, the taxes are going to go up where we live too eventually. Everything catches up. It is what it is, right? There's no way to ever be ahead of the system. The system always catches up to all of us, right? And I told my wife this, and I'm telling you this, urban grandpa. You can't think that far ahead, man, because we don't know from today to tomorrow to next week, next month. God willing, you live a long life. I pray that all y'all have a blessed life. But we don't know the hour, right? We could die next week. We could die in our sleep and be like, shit, man, he was only 50 years old. You know, he had his whole life, half his life to go still. I can only think and go so far above, right? If we're talking 2 years from now, I can plan for that. I can think about that. 5 years from now, fine. But when you're reaching out 10, 15, 10, 12, 15 years from now, that is a long time. It's something to think about, but it's too far away for me to be stressing about it. I would just say this: know that day is coming. Man, I'm talking about know that day is coming. And I think that if you can prepare yourself mentally, it makes it that much easier. Just the same thing as if they say, one day you may have to go to the nursing home. Well, I don't want to go. Yeah, but one day you may have to. Sorry, guys, it's the smoke, and then I'm just talking a lot. Just prepare yourself for that. It doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you have to worry about it tomorrow. But those are things that certainly concern you. You can either start planning for them and start thinking about where's your next home, or you can just say, okay, it's coming, but I'm not going to stress over. I'm going to live my life. Once we get closer to 2, 3, 5 years, then I'll put it on the radar. But for now, just going to enjoy my home. Enjoy your home, sir. So, how you liking the chat? Interested? Let me drink some water. Smoke my being. I always think the idea of a fire pit out here is good, and then until it gets too smoky, and I'm like, someone got the fan on, blow that shit that way. So, are y'all liking the chat, guys? Let me know. Well, out there. One day at a time. Exactly, Thomas. One day at a time. Good chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good chat. Thank you. Hello, YouTube. Back again. Red October. I'm gonna steal that from you one day when I become a little bit older. Okay. Hope you don't mind. Hello, YouTube. Yeah. So anyway, 75 minutes. I need to check and see what some other chats are. I got a show to watch, Yellowstone with the wife. So I'm gonna probably wrap this up, guys. I hope that you all have enjoyed Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? So anyway, I hope that you all enjoyed it. Try to mix it up. Try to have some fun with it. Talk about some random topics. You guys be blessed. Um, I'm gonna have some days coming up where I'm free, and we'll talk about that later. Remember, us little people, when you hit a big red, okay, hit big red, okay. Chat is good conversation. Y'all have a good evening. Yeah, thank you all for joining my chat. I appreciate it. I'm humbled to be among great people. Thank you, Heather, for being a moderator. I'm gonna ask that one or two other people be moderators as well. Deanne, if you're up for it, I can make you a moderator if you'll hold on. Let me see. How do I do that? Add it. Okay. Let's see. Are you? I think I added you. Okay. Deanne, I think I made you a moderator. Check. It said I added you. So, but anyways, you guys have a good night, and I appreciate you all. And KP, Urban Grandpa, go enjoy your life, live it, love it. All right. Adios, amigos. Oh, there you go, Deanne. You're a moderator now. All right. See you later, beautiful people.